So, the United States apparently faced a surge in violent crime and civil unrest. Well, it did, didn't it? Following the death of George Floyd, President Trump, positioned himself as the law and order president. Well, Joe Biden has promised to address racial inequalities. I have a look at where we are today, right? I've got some issues in front of me here. Crime rates are shifting. So homicides apparently are going down. Property crime, carjacking, smash and grab burglaries, they're on the up. And that is, adding to this sense of lawlessness. I also see some absolutely horrendous videos coming out of a variety of different places like San Francisco, which appear to indicate that that place is now just feral. What do you make of the state of law and order in America? How is it doing?
I think it's going downhill fast. I mean, at some point, we're going to hit rock bottom. We're going to have to recover. But what they've done to our country, when Donald Trump was in office, he supported law enforcement, supported the law, the law that we had on the books to enforce the laws on the books, did not prioritize this fake sense of equality and all of this DEI stuff that we do today, which is absolutely ridiculous. But what the administration has done now that's in power, they hate police. They hate law and order. They want dysfunction in this country because they've defunded the police, they demonize police, and they reward criminals. George Floyd was a criminal. Unfortunately, he died at the hands of a police officer and fentanyl. But it had nothing to do with him being a martyr and the black man in America just getting killed for no reason by police. It's absolutely stupid. And they lie to us about the statistical data that they gather. Homicide arrests are probably down because police aren't arresting people who are killing other people. They don't have the resources. I see every day I turn on the TV, people have killed other individuals and they can't find them. They don't have the resources to search for them. They put a bulletin on the news and say, does anybody know who this person is? I'll guarantee you this. I haven't looked at the stat one time. In Chicago, Illinois, over Memorial Day weekend, I guarantee you there was at least 60 shootings, 60 to 80 shootings, and probably 10 to 15 homicides. All individuals who are African Americans, murderers, and the victims of murder. And you will never hear any of our politicians talk about it on television because they don't care. But they'll talk about George Floyd, who was a criminal, convicted felon, home invader, all of these things he did in his life. They reward him as if he's Jesus Christ. And they just look over all the dead black people in America who are victims far more than he was.
I wonder if actually the George Floyd reaction was a little bit of white guilt from people who, instead of addressing the very real issues that you have just outlined there, decided instead to make a virtue of putting a black square on Instagram or going to a Black Lives Matter march or, telling their friends how woke and virtuous they were, as opposed to actually doing something practical and useful for America, which would be to address, and by the sounds of it from what you said as well, very high levels of black on black crime.
1,000%. It's absolutely mind-blowing that we had this point in our country's history where people were burning buildings down in the name of a thug who got killed. And the problem is that you can add up every police shooting, in the last 20 years, and they won't equate to 1 year of black on black violence. There was a statistic that was put out, fact checked and all, is that the history of lynching in the United States of America, in the history of this country, there was probably about 3,200 lynchings in a 68-year history. If you look at the stats today, there is more African Americans who were killed in a 6-month period than the entire history of lynching in America. So all the racism and racial disparities that they claim and all of this white people are bad and the black man is under the foot of the white man, it's all bull crap. It's so many young people that are dying in the inner city. They don't have a name. They don't have a voice. Not just adults. I mean, young children doing homework, bullets coming through the house and hitting them in the head and killing them. And nobody says anything. Yeah. They don't get a T-shirt. They don't get a Memorial Day. They don't get anything. They don't even care. No fundraiser, no nothing. And I'll tell you this. It was Sakaria Turner. My channel helped her family raise $300,000. She had $14,000 in her GoFundMe when we first saw the story. Young woman, it was a BLM rally. 2 thug idiots started shooting it out and killed this woman's 14-year-old kid. I think she was even younger than that. Nobody said anything. No. Benjamin Crump, who's a crook in our country, the president, nobody even mentioned this girl's name. But when a thug get killed by the police, all they do is raise millions of dollars for them. It's a shame and it's a sham to our country.